Hello, DermHotline. Hello, I'm Dr. Angelo Landracina, aka DermAngelo, board-certified dermatologist, skincare enthusiast, and apparently what Tony Stark would look like if he liked men. This is our first installment of DermHotline. I put out a call on Instagram for all of your most pressing questions, skincare or otherwise, and we're gonna get into them today while I do a get ready with me skincare routine for the morning. Oh, and speaking of Instagram, if you're not following along, you can find me on all social media at DermAngelo. So I've already cleansed my skin before I started filming. I used the Peach and Lily Power Calm Hydrating Gel Cleanser. I just find this to be a really good non-stripping cleanser. I've been liking it during my AM routine. I tend to do my more aggressive cleansing regimen at night to kind of remove the grime and sunscreen from the day. In the morning, I feel like sometimes I could just get away with just a little splash of water or something really gentle like this. Our first question: is it common to have mild acne after the age of 25 years old? Yes, adult acne is super common. It even affects a large percentage of people into their 30s and even beyond. You are at a higher likelihood of having acne into your 20s if you had acne in your teens. However, acne can arise for the first time in adulthood. There's several factors that go into that, including hormonal factors, inflammation, flora that live on the skin. So yeah, that's actually a really common thing that we see and a very common concern even into your 20s. So for our second step, I'm gonna be a little bit more maximalist today. I feel like my pores could use a good little clean sweep just from mask wearing and other factors. So I'm going to use Glow Recipes Watermelon Glow Hyaluronic Clay Pore Tight Facial. One of the cool tips that I learned about this from the brand's founders is that you do not necessarily have to use it all over your face. You could use it just on the areas where you do kind of want that pore tight facial. I'm just going in on my nose today. I leave this on for about 5 or 10 minutes and then rinse it off. One of the things that I really like about this is I do feel like it works. It's kind of like a jump start to get my pores looking a little bit clearer. However, it is not as drying as a lot of clay masks that I've tried. It has like a gentle physical exfoliant in here too. I believe it's blueberry seeds, and it smells like candy, like all of their products. I got several questions about hair loss, including one that asks what to use if biotin is causing you to break out. Here's one thing I will tell you. Almost invariably, when people come to me with hair loss and they've been trying something over the counter, they've tried biotin. And there is no data out there showing that biotin supplementation helps with any kind of hair loss. It has been documented that if you have biotin deficiency, and that's the reason for your hair loss, that yes, that would help, but biotin deficiency is actually exceedingly rare. Like, you need to have a rare genetic disorder for that to actually be a thing. My number one tip for anybody suffering with hair loss is see a dermatologist if you can. I always say time is hair, and there are some causes of hair loss that are irreversible. Once you've lost the hair, it's gone, so you want to stop it in its tracks early. And the only way that you're going to do that is with a trained eye who can parse out what exactly the cause of your hair loss is. Time is hair. Please do not just suffer with it for years before you finally get treated. I know that a lot of people think that it's more of like a cosmetic concern, but hair is actually really important to our social functioning. So I would say treat it like you would any other health concern. Go to the doctor, talk to them about it. What's my ideal morning on a day off? Sleep in. I love me some sleep. I do feel like sleep is very important to overall beauty and your overall health. However, I'm quite often sleep deprived. I tend to, stay up until the wee hours doing work, but that ability to sleep in is golden, followed by breakfast in bed with a good, strong cup of coffee. I love nothing more than, just cuddling up and being cozy. Best starter retinol. I did a whole YouTube video, which I'll link somewhere over here, about different over-the-counter retinol and retinoid formulas that I tried. Basically, I would say start with anything with plain old retinol. Tends to be gentler, and then you could work your way up to something like a retinol, or think about going with a prescription strength retinoid such as tretinoin after that. As always, keep in mind you want to start out any retinoid slowly. You don't want to just jump in the deep end and automatically start using it every single day. So think about starting out maybe 2-3 times a week and then working your way up and getting over that hump of retinization. So that's when you can have some irritation in the beginning of using a retinoid. Okay, we've rinsed off and dried our mask. Next, I'm going to go in with Naturium's Hyaluronic Acid Essence 2%. Here's a little trick. I kind of hate using essences like this, where you kind of like pour it out and then you have to like pat on your skin, because I feel like I lose it. Like I'm always dropping it on the floor and I'm not able to spread it on my skin. So I like to put these essences in a little spray bottle, and then it's like a facial spray basically. I feel like it gets more evenly distributed. Maybe I'm just imagining that. Ow. Quick and easy. So I got a few questions about diet and skin, and specifically like dietary recommendations for people with acne. As a clinician, I never go to dietary changes as a first-line treatment for acne, or even as a treatment for acne. The best data that we have seems to indicate that high glycemic index foods, so those that spike your insulin very quickly after eating them, dairy, and specifically any dairy product that is not full fat. In addition to that, things like whey protein have also been linked to flaring of acne. However, based on the data that we have, and this is my interpretation of it only, obviously speak to your own doctor about dietary changes, it seems like dietary factors are not important for determining whether or not you have acne. It's more that they may play into the severity of acne. However, that difference seems to be not that great. Again, this is a expanding area of research, so, there's probably more to come about it, but at this time, I do not routinely recommend dietary changes to my patients with acne. Next, for my serum, I'm going to use Glow Recipes Guava Vitamin C Dark Spot Serum. I actually worked with Glow Recipe on the launch of this product to support it. I think this is a really great vitamin C serum. They've included several vitamin C derivatives in here in order to make it a kind of more stable formula. One of the issues with a lot of vitamin C's is they tend to go off a little bit too soon. They oxidize, so you're potentially losing some of the efficacy there. I like that they also included tranexamic acid, another active that I think you're going to be seeing a lot more in consumer skincare products that works by a different mechanism than vitamin C for decreasing pigment production. So I always say, pigment production is a multi-step process, so you want to address different steps in that process if you're trying to treat hyperpigmentation. You shouldn't just be depending on a single active, and you always need to remember sunscreen and other sun protective measures, because they're going to be your best friend. I was asked what my favorite guilty pleasure is as far as TV, food, etc. There is nothing that I love more in the world than like eating a charcuterie board and drinking wine. Like I don't know if that's a guilty pleasure, but that's like my pleasure. As far as like guilty pleasure TV, recently I've been really liking Emily in Paris. I really love Paris. Paris is like my second home. So being able to, live vicariously through that show is great. Also, it is like just so campy. They've really leaned into the camp of it all in the second season, and I love that for them. Sometimes, especially, in times like these, you do need something that's a little bit lighter and doesn't take itself too seriously, kind of like me. And yeah, I found it in that show. Okay, next, we're moving on to moisturizer. Today I'm using SkinCeuticals Triple Lipid Restore 2 to 4 to 2. This is a kind of legendary moisturizer. They've included in here a specific ratio of lipids to restore the skin's barrier function. I think it's just like a really awesome moisturizer myself. Somebody asked about best remedy for crepey neck skin. Like, I'm getting tech neck, obviously, because I'm on my phone all the time, but I always say, do not forget the neck. Do every skincare step on your neck too. Consider this part of your face. Go all the way down to your chest. I think Caroline Hyron says, take it to the tits. I agree with that. Other options for crepey neck skin. I mean, the bevy of cosmetic treatments that you could get done that are out there, including Botox, something that we call the Nefertite lift, where you decrease the lines and even can provide some lift to the submental area by paralyzing this platysma muscle that sits here. If you don't know what that muscle is, go like that. That's your platysma muscle. They call it the Nefertiti lift because of, Nefertiti's famous profile with her beautiful jawline. Other things that I've seen use PRP, resurfacing lasers, and the like. Next, I'm gonna be using an eye cream, and we actually got a question about eye creams. Today, I'm using Lancome's Advanced Je ne fais que. So, here's what I have to say about eye creams. Does everybody need one? No. Can it be nice to have in certain situations? Yeah. I always say, if you have a separate concern in your eye area, or if your eye area is super sensitive, then yeah, maybe an eye cream would be right for you. I find that they tend to be thicker, so I also tend to use my eye creams in other areas of my face that get a little bit drier. So I'll use this around my nose, around my mouth, because those areas tend to get a little bit dry and flaky, especially now that it's New York City winter. However, no, it's not completely necessary. Going in with lip balm next. This is Make Beauty's Pink Matter. I got a question about post-Accutane tips. Excuse the weird way that I put this on. Like, I don't like putting my fingers in there, so like I'll just do this. I know it's really weird. Post-Accutane tips. So, in the period immediately getting off of isotretinoin, formerly known by the trade name Accutane, you're gonna notice that your skin kind of changes. It reverts a little bit to what it was before you were on the treatment. It's not gonna be immediately exactly the same though. And the hope is that your acne will be in remission. I would say you gotta take it slow. Don't immediately jump in with a bunch of actives. Keep your skincare routine super simple until you know what's up. Some people do still require topical meds to keep their skin clear after a round of isotretinoin. Keep that in mind. Obviously, you want to continue to follow with your dermatologist. Next, we're gonna do our sunscreen, of course. Today I'm using Dr. Sam's Flawless Gossamer Tint. This is shade 1. One of the things that I really like about this is a tinted sunscreen that actually comes in different shades. I have been known to say that brands don't realize that they need to make different shades if they're making a tinted product. There is no such thing as a universal tint. Sorry to break it to you. For somebody who's like pasty and mayonnaise colored like me, some of the tints are even like too dark, too orange, not the right undertone, etc. I like this one because, yeah, it's a little bit more color matched for me. Somebody asked, what is my favorite skincare active? That's like asking me to choose between my children or something. At the top for me is like retinoids as a class. They have some of the best data behind them. In addition, vitamin C, like those are the two actives that you will always find in my routine, and my routine changes a lot, but no matter what, those two will be there. And of course, like any UV filter, that is really the most important thing. Protect your skin from the sun, be consistent, and you will go far. A tip, if you get tinted sunscreen in your eyebrows or your facial hair, just like, brush it through so that you don't look like you have a gray mustache. And that's it. I hope that you found this informative. If you want more skincare content from me, make sure that you are subscribed, hit the notification bell so that you get notified every time I upload. Ciao.